Yo, what is up guys, it's me Zachary, and welcome to day 57 of the 2017-2018 NBA season. You guys already know the drill, we got a few things to talk about today, so let's just get right into it. But first, a quick word from this video sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the app that is a must-have for NBA fans who enjoy or want to go see games live. They let you see the view from the seat before you purchase, as well as rank the seats on a scale from 1 to 100 to make sure that you are getting the absolute best deal. Speaking of best deal, you can enter the promo code SDC to receive $20 off your first order to make it an even better deal. Download the app in the description box below. Now with that out the way though, let's go. This game had everything that you could ask of a regular season NBA game to have. The crowd was into it. LeVar Ball was mocking Spike Lee on the sidelines. The teams were going back and forth, trading shot for shot in a stretch of the third quarter. Game went into overtime. It was just a really entertaining game to watch overall. Knicks though were the ones who wound up with a win, 113-109, thanks to Kristaps Porzingis having a monster game of 37 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 blocks. The first player to ever put up a stat line like that while also hitting 5 triples in a game. That right there just shows you how much the game is evolving, with big men like Porzingis being able to shoot the 3 ball so well. So the game itself was highly entertaining. Lonzo Ball had the best stretch of his game shooting the ball in that 2-minute stretch of the third quarter. Caught a breakaway lob from KCP that put the crowd in the Garden into awe. Then the next play, he hit a 3 from the top of the key. Then the play after that, he had a scoop layup over Brook Lopez. It was the first time, I believe, that Lonzo really tried to take over a game with his scoring, and he played well last night too. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, basically a 50% shooting from the floor as well as 50% from deep. But that doesn't change the fact that he is still one of the most hated players in the NBA already amongst fans. More people want to see him fail than any other player. And yesterday, LeBron James took it upon himself to speak out about the situation that Lonzo was in and talk about the hate that he is getting. The kid hasn't said anything, it's been everybody else. So I love his humility. He goes out every time someone asks him a question, he says, "This is not about me, man. I just want to win. I don't care about what I did. I seen he had a triple-double one game and they lost." He was like, "I don't care. We lost." LeBron then went on to say that he can see similarities between what he has experienced in the NBA and what Lonzo is going through right now. So can I draw any parallel to my experience? I mean, of course. I guess when you're drafted to a franchise, they want you to kind of be the savior, and it takes a while. I mean, listen man, this guy is 20 something games into his pro career. Stuff doesn't happen that fast. Here it goes again. It goes back to my instant oatmeal quote. Everybody wants it right away. Can he play ball? Absolutely, the kid can play ball. Do you guys want to play with him? Absolutely, because it's a guy where it's not about him. It's about the success of the team, and he gives the ball up, and he passes the ball, and there's energy behind the ball. Sounds like facts to me. I will say though that the hype around Lonzo is the reason that people are being so harsh on him. When a player is drafted into the NBA and is compared to the greats like Jason Kidd and Magic Johnson, you got his dad talking about he's better than Westbrook, Harden, and Curry. Magic Johnson saying that he expects Lonzo's number to be hanging from the Raptors when he is done. Well, all that hype around him, it's hard for us not to expect great things out of Lonzo Ball right away. But if anything, that's more on us for actually buying into the hype and expecting such great things from him right away. Like LeBron James said, Lonzo Ball himself hasn't really said anything. As a player and as a person, he seems to be pretty humble, and he does put the good of the team before himself. In the few games where Lonzo was benched for the entire fourth quarter because either Jordan Clarkson or just the unit they had in the game was playing so well, not once after any of those games do you ever hear Lonzo complaining about not being in the game down the stretch. All he cared about was if the team won or if the team lost. So one thing that Lonzo's always said is that he's about winning games. That's all that matters to him, and so far he has proved that that's the case. That's enough about Lonzo though. It doesn't even matter what anyone says. At the end of the day, people are gonna root for Lonzo, and then there are gonna be people who want to see Lonzo fail. Personally, I don't want to see any player fail, because why would I? If Lonzo becomes great, then that's great for the NBA. It's another great player that we get to watch as fans, and it makes the game much more entertaining. If he becomes a bust, then it's like, all right, you were right, he's a bust. Now what? Now we just don't get to see another great player. That's why I don't want any player to fail. Speaking of great players though, LeBron James There is some debate as to if this is the best or the second best regular season that he has ever had. And as each game of this season passes, it's starting to seem like the season he is having this year very well could be the best season that he has ever had. He is playing with a level of efficiency right now that is off the freaking charts. I don't know how, at 32 going on 33 years old, it is possible for LeBron James to still be getting better as a player, but I'm pretty sure it has to do something with how much smarter he is getting. That has to be what's allowing him to elevate his game, even though he should have reached his physical peak as a player. He might not be able to get any faster, any stronger, or jump any higher than he was able to a few years back, but his understanding of the game and his ability to always know what to do on the court and when to do it is still getting better. That is exactly what it is. That is the only explanation for how he's getting better. And he had that understanding of the game on full display last night. Every time he touched the ball, he made something happen. 25 points on 11 of 13 shooting, as well as tying his career high with 17 assists and grabbing 7 rebounds as well. 17 assists and only 2 turnovers. And what's crazy is that even though he had a monster game, Mike Budenholzer after the game said that he thinks the Hawks did a pretty good job of defending LeBron last night. Look, I'm not gonna call Budenholzer crazy for saying that. It just shows pretty much how unstoppable LeBron can be. You can't really stop a guy who can score from anywhere on the court now and is also one of, if not the best passer in the NBA as well. It's not possible. So I guess the fact that he didn't score 40 to go along with those 17 points is somewhat of a moral victory for the Hawks. 123-114 was the final score. I knew this was going to happen. Kawhi Leonard returned for the Spurs last night, and I was hype about it, but at the same time, I knew this wasn't going to be like a real game for Kawhi Leonard either. Everyone had to know that he wasn't going to get that many minutes. The Spurs aren't the type of team to give a guy a full load of minutes his first game back from an injury. Kawhi Leonard only played 16 minutes last night, and even in their next game, I don't expect him to be playing 35 minutes either. Maybe they'll go up to 20, then 25, then 30, slowly get him used to playing in a game again. Kawhi did have 13 points and 6 rebounds in his 16 minutes of action, but the Dallas Mavericks were able to come away with the upset win over the San Antonio Spurs, 95-89. Barnes scored 17 for Dallas, while Yogi Berra and Matthews had 16 each. What I find funny though is what Kawhi Leonard said after the game.
Happy to be able to be out there, just to play the game and enjoy the things I missed. Missing shots, losing games, making mistakes, just everything. Just missed everything on the court, and I'm just glad I was able to play.
He missed missing shots and losing games. I think that is the first time in my life that I have ever heard something like that. This man Jimmy Butler will make a great personal trainer or drill sergeant or something along those lines. He don't care what excuse you have. If you ain't giving it 100%, he is not going to be happy. The Wolves lost to the Philadelphia 76ers last night in overtime, 118-112. After missing his last 2 games, Joel Embiid couldn't wait to take the court and get back to action last night. And with the way he was playing, it definitely showed that. 28 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists for Embiid, an all-around great game, and that was for sure needed to get the Sixers this win, because if not for Embiid, Jimmy Butler and his 38 points would have been way too much for Philly to handle. And I think all Butler's talks are starting to resonate with this young Wolves team. Karl Anthony Towns after the game was very hard on himself for losing last night, saying that Butler was great, he's just upset because he didn't do enough to help him. Jimmy was fantastic tonight. I didn't do anything to help him. Towns did have 19 points, 16 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 blocks, and played 48 out of the 53 minutes of the game last night. And the fact that he is so hard on himself, even though he didn't play that bad at all last night, could actually be great for him. I think Towns just needs that extra edge to his game. He worked a lot with KG for a couple of years, and he just needs more of that KG mindset, knowing most of the times he is going to be the best player on the court, that he can dominate anytime he steps onto the court. And even if he's not the best player on the court, he still needs to have the mindset of, you can't stop me, I'm going to dominate this game. And I think Jimmy Butler holding these guys accountable and demanding 100% effort from them every single night is going to push Towns to that point where he gets like that eventually. And the magic number is now 7 for Detroit. 7 straight losses. And it seems like the longer this losing streak is going on, the more out of sync the Pistons offense has been getting. It's like the guys forgot how to play together out there or something, because they were turning the ball over left And right, no one was cutting to the rim, just settling for a bunch of outside shots that weren't going in. They seemed lost out there now. Denver got the easy 103-84 win last night behind Jamal Murray and his 28 points, as well as Trey Lyles having 20 off the bench on a perfect 7 of 7 shooting from the field. No Jahlil Okafor for Brooklyn yesterday, as the coach said that he's not going to put players in the game who don't know the defensive or offensive sets yet, so there is no timetable on when we can expect to see him play. That's a different approach than most other NBA teams have. The Bucks, when they traded for Bledsoe, he was out there in the starting lineup for Milwaukee the next day. But maybe that is how, despite 2 of their best players being injured and them not having the most talented roster, they're still able to win some games. That Brooklyn pick that the Cavs got seems to be losing value every single day. With the 103-98 win over the Wizards, the Nets are now 11-15 on the year. Look, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they won't be a bottom 5 team in the NBA. 7 players scored in double figures for the Nets last night, led by Rondae Hollis-Jefferson and Karis LeVert, who had 16 each. The Kings won again last night thanks to George Hill possibly having the best game of this season so far. 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting from the field as they get the 99-92 victory over the Devin Booker-less Phoenix Suns. That wraps up all the action from last night, though. You guys can go vote for the player of the day by clicking this little card right here. Just remember that only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, you guys selected James Harden and his 26 points, 17 assists, and 6 steals as your player of the day. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe to the channel for more daily NBA news and highlights. But until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!